Hey there, YouTube! Hi! It's nice to see you again after a, well, few days this time. So, yeah, that's good, that's good, that's good. So, today, let me just come here. Today we will be reacting to MandaloreGaming Pathologic 2 review. Pathologic 2 review. That was requested with, well, Pathologic 1 is already done. So it's time to, well, react to Pathologic 2. Ah, honestly, I'm looking forward to it. Yes, yes, yes. Hopefully it will be, better. Hopefully my reaction will be better for the people that, hate my reaction. And yeah, let us get into that video. Well then, let us start. Hey there, Mandalore Gaming. Oh, it's, again, the mime. Oh, the graphics looks good in this one, from just seeing this. Oh boy. The pillar man. Hey there, Mandalore. Hey there. Ah, finally. Shotgun does more
I've got to
damage.
say, it's good to be back, even if I didn't think I'd be back here so soon. When I said no more weird Russian games for at least a year, I meant it. The thing is, for one, I didn't expect them to release Pathologic 2 so soon, and two, I didn't think they'd contact me that very day offering me a copy of the game for feedback. So, here we are. Let me start by answering the most common questions I've seen. Is Pathologic 2 a remake of 1? Yes. Is it an actual sequel to 1? Yes. You need to play 1 to understand 2. No.
Ah, that's
See,
good.
the game starts at the end of Pathologic 2, or maybe the end of Pathologic 1.
Wait, what? End of Pathologic 2 or maybe Pathologic 1, it doesn't matter. Is this the right review? Yeah, Pathologic 2 review. So, what do you mean by at the end of Pathologic 2 or Pathologic 1?
And it doesn't really matter. Essentially, you start the game having lost it, and you're given a chance to restart. Kids are just playing hopscotch in a war zone and going to barbecues.
That's a nice meat.
So how is it a sequel? Well, the first game is referenced from time to time, though it's always going to be subtle and usually up for interpretation. It's typically not story elements because, like I said, this is also a remake, but more meta commentary on how the first game turned out. This is more like a film remake than a game remake. The main idea and framework, yeah, that's usually the same. A person might share the same name, but they're a completely different character now. Some huge plot elements could be reworked or torn out or added in, it's all up in the air. Pathologic 2 does all these things, but still acknowledges that the plot of the first game still happened. It may even challenge you on which you prefer, though the story isn't that much different than 1. Don't worry, they still have all the trash cans everywhere. This dual nature of the game does make it tricky to talk about, so I'll talk about it as a sequel and a remake, which is going to get messy, but it's okay, we're here together.
Okay, that's a lot. I thought the graphics were glitching. It did look like graphics glitching, but it was just the light.
You know, because taking on one fever dream game by itself was just too easy. So here we go again. The game starts you off on a train and with a new friend. The kind of friend who emerges from a coffin and then wants to tell you a secret. Just like in middle school. This begins one of the most surreal tutorials I've played in a game. You're learning how to drink water and people are turning into mimes. Then all of a sudden you're in Junji Ito's Mongolian Thunderdome, and then you learn how to trade by exchanging hearts. This is a long tutorial sequence, but it is effective. Yeah, it's teaching you how to play, but it's also making the drop into the main game more cushioned. You're starting off in a land of visions and metaphors. It's disjointed, so arriving in the town feels like a relief from all of that. At least for now.
Okay, it's again. Well, at least it's probably better than it was in the first game. That's good. I think so.
There'll be a lot more to learn, but it's a great introduction. You know, it tells you what the buttons do. Unlike 1, that just had these two guys giving you a huge information dump. They say so much at once that you can easily miss out on essential info. This is probably why a lot of players didn't know they could receive mail. It would all be cryptic unless you looked in the controls. You might think it's odd to focus on the tutorial. Well, it represents the biggest change from 1 to 2. See, the first game wasn't just frustrating from the walking, even though that was a big part of it. It was the fact that you were frequently so aimless when playing it. You had all these characters to babysit, you'd check on them, and usually they'd be fine, but sometimes they'd be in trouble. And you did this by walking across town and then you'd stare at them in the face. The difficulty from the first game did not come from hard survival mechanics. It was really easy to farm bandits and have lots of supplies forever. The challenge came from constantly walking, wondering if you're wasting your time doing it. Along with mundane nightmare missions like this one.
Oh yeah, the 50
I'm getting ahead of myself,
spells.
but this is a big change. Pathologic 2 teaches you more and shows you more. The game is still more difficult, but as a survival and decision challenge. I'm deciding if I should fight or get the hell out. I'm not walking across town to someone who might be in trouble to just check up on things and wondering if rat poison will stop my heart.
Are you okay? Are you alive? You know, just you go to him. Knock. Are you alive? You're alive. Good. See you later.
I got ahead of myself there. Some of you don't know what this game is all about.
Naked
He plays
woman?
a surgeon named Artemy. He's been off studying in the big city when he receives an urgent letter from his father to return home. So he does, and 3 people immediately try to shank him in a train yard. It quickly becomes apparent why he left because the town is bizarre. Bizarre beyond the murderers and the furries, which are part and parcel of any city.
He posing for it. Oh no!
You don't know where the town is, it doesn't really have a name besides just the town and the Gorkin River. It's also uncertain when exactly this game takes place. I mean, yeah, there's a gramophone, but also the giant floating polyhedron tower. There are also the creatures who want to trade organs or give you a canal tour. Then you have all the townspeople. They're all over the place. Some look like Mongolian shepherds, Turn of the Century men, anime villains, this mime. This town is out of time and space. It's an alien culture that the character Artemy has to relearn, and you, the player, have to learn from scratch. A situation like this would be hard to order a meal in. In Artemy's case, it turned out that his father was murdered and there's a serial killer on the loose.
Oh no.
Many suspect the killer to be something called a Shabnak step demon, and that it heralds the arrival of a deadly...
Help me, step demon. I'm stuck in the washing machine again. For the 3rd time, please help me.
incurable plague. Artemy has come back just in time for the opening of mass hysteria. You'll need to discover who killed your father, save the town, and save yourself. Now that you have the gist of it, let's go over the presentation in detail. On a technical level, the game is very impressive looking. The superb lighting, shadows, and reflections do a lot to generate atmosphere. Besides just being nice looking when you're moving through the game world, it's used incredibly effectively in the set pieces too. Pathologic 2 has a lot of creepy and surreal visuals, especially when you compare it with its predecessor. A lot of these graphical techniques just weren't available for the first game. So not only do they come off a lot stronger, there's just more of them in general.
Give me a second. No, that's the sound. I like the mask. I like the trench coat. Oh, I like that. Honestly, I like the trench coat and the mask. Well, I like the trench coat the most, probably. I like trench coats.
Just weren't available for the first game. So not only do they come off a lot stronger, there's just more of them in general. Unfortunately, it's not a perfect improvement. In conversation, the character models are great, and they have a lot of subtle animation to them.
He looks like much older Ron Weasley. Is it just me? Maybe it's just me, but I think he does look like older Ron Weasley.
They do breach into the uncanny valley sometimes, but that could be intentional. Whatever, it doesn't look like Mountain Blade anymore. The animations outside of those, particularly in combat, are pretty janky. It almost looks like they're recorded at a lower frame rate than the game is actually running at. People slide around a lot, and some things just look so odd that it gives everyone a kind of mannequin feeling. There's still a lot of great animation work, but the lesser ones will take you out of it. Speaking of that kind of thing, there are some graphical issues, mainly these stutters and slowdowns. They seem to happen right before or slightly after entering a new area. It could happen by going from outside to inside, or you're just walking through town and you cross an invisible loading line and everything stops. This did improve after a patch, but it could still happen occasionally. I always thought the game was about to crash, but to its credit, that never happened. The true terror of this issue only arrives in combat. There's nothing like fighting a leper with a rusty shank and wondering if you'll die to time dilation instead. It never actually screwed me over, but it could have, and that needs fixing.
It's not in the best shape as it is.
Now as for the art direction, that is excellent. The world of Pathologic has a very interesting look to it. At a quick glance, the town might look like a typical early 20th century European town, but it's also being influenced by a tribal steppe culture. They bring with them innovative ideas like regarding bulls as being sacred. This is a direct contrast to the town who's starting to industrialize. But rather than being completely at odds with each other, a lot of the town is a fusion of both cultures. The house looks European, but it has tribal tapestries inside. Makeshift contemporary hospital, shamans wearing bow and bird costumes with glowing eyes. It goes beyond just picking out which element would belong to which side and blends into being its own thing. For example, the giant superstructures that are just looming over the town ominously. It's hard to pick a category for those, and going inside them doesn't help much. Having this style work without being a complete mess is already a feat, but there's an entire other layer on top of it. Everything you've seen is underneath a theatrical presentation. It's like a big scary play.
So same as the first game, so yeah. Also, that looks creepy.
Hey, it's not hidden or subtle either. Right when you get to town there are stage lights. Characters might act as stagehands or speak theatrically. Then you have the actual theater building in the center of town which predicts the future at midnight. But that's another story.
Okay.
It sounds like a mess when you spell it out like that, but it works because of the insane attention to detail. Even after 2 playthroughs just coming back to record a few other snippets of things, I would keep finding stuff I hadn't noticed before. Like, I didn't notice at all that playground equipment had bullheads on it. It's such a mundane object, but they went that extra mile to make it fit in the world. And then you have the surreal and horror elements sprinkled around in there too. Pathologic 1 never quite hit this as hard as 2 does, but I won't spoil all of that. Then they took everything in the setting and made an apology of that.
I've already done. Ikke Claw alive in Skavenblicht. Make album of Fast Rat Magic. What? Also, is it stuck in the walls? It's in the walls. The rats are in the walls.
Then they took everything in this setting and made an apocalypse happening on top of it. So yeah, that's unique to say the least. Still, visuals are only half of the presentation. The sound of the game has its own unique qualities to it, so I'll start with the good first. Conversation voice acting is interesting with that trademark Pathologic stage delivery jazz to it.
Light feet and heavy heart, huh? It should be the other way around.
When the cat's away, the mice will play.
What do you call such a man? A slave. You call him a slave.
Please welcome the Outbreak.
Nope. I'm not gonna.
The theater is officially disbanded.
As well as other conveniences. Running water, access to your own children, who never leave their beloved polyhedron anyway.
Naturally, this is backed up by how well the sound builds atmosphere. Like the first game, the soundtrack is unique and has a lot of memorable qualities to it. This time around, it is for different reasons and is no longer the Genghis Khan-directed Half-Life 2 soundtrack. The music is more tribal, ethereal, and mystic this time around. A lot of bells, sitars, and chanting. Depending on your ancestry, this could compel you to dance or build a spice mine somewhere. Let's check out a few samples.
So let's hear it. That sounds nice. Didn't she get burnt? On the stake? What Yaguda? Sounds something from Far Cry, almost. Oh, hey. Like, step back. Lots of buzzing. Unless that was
Then you have the creepier tracks, like the one that sounds like someone scratching on wood.
Okay, I would hate to hear that
then
at the night.
Sometimes it gets really ominous.
An open wound is a window into the world. A shout is an arm reaching out from a gaping mouth.
What do you mean?
It's nice that the music is just as strange and otherworldly as the rest of the game. The environment in general has great sound mixing. That was my big audio complaint in Pathologic 1, and it's been improved completely.
That's
It
nice.
was easier to get immersed this time, instead of having dogs bark and babies cry in my ear constantly. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for the mixing of minor characters. The random background sounds and callouts of unnamed NPCs and all that. I get the feeling that the voice actors did not record in the same studio. Some NPC conversations don't sound like they're in the same room. There's also not enough variety among the NPCs. A pyromaniac arsonist and a sick bandit sound exactly the same and have the same line. You're walking around, you just hear, "Get over here."
Come back. Stop right there.
Come back. Stop right there. Come here. And don't mind the knife I have in my hand.
Stop right there.
Stop everything there.
Closer.
Come closer.
You're not going anywhere.
You're not going anywhere. Volleyball.
Wait, I'm not doing this again yet. I did check, and the
Wait.
Russian mixing for the
Was that Time Splitters? Future Perfect? No. Oh, okay. I thought that was Time Splitters. Sorry, I mistaken. That looks almost like something Warhammer, like maybe. Unless it's Halo, I don't know. But Guardsman and this little thingy makes me think that this is something from Warhammer. Then probably.
Wait, I'm not doing this again yet.
Looks
I
like
did
it.
check, and the Russian mixing for the main characters is also great, and the mixing for random NPCs does seem better. They do have the
it's
same
Russian.
Attack of the Clones problem. Just instead of "stop right there," they go "hey, suka."
Hey, Suka!
It's happening again. The disease is spreading, but I have the cure. It never ends. Anyway, I thought the presentation was great, very atmospheric and creative. It does fall short of being truly superb because the areas that do lack polish give it a healthy amount of jank. In other words,
good
a Slavic
rice.
specialty dish. Now I'm going to briefly look at this as being a remake again.
Of course, Slavic specialty dish. I have bandits, Russian Polish, everything, Ukraine. Ah, the Slavic special. I do enjoy them. Also, I do keep getting my friends telling me that I'm Russian, even though I'm not Russian.
I think the presentation 2 is better than 1 in every single way, but 1 does do 2 things in particular differently. The first is the contrast between the mundane buildings and the not-so-mundane, whatever this is. Except for very few select buildings, Pathologic 1 was very grounded. It looked drab and boring to walk through, like some kind of commercial where someone's about to take an antidepressant. Though, to its credit, this did make the strange buildings a lot more mysterious. 2 establishes a different world better, but that also means a lot more crazy buildings. Even then, 1 still had a few fantastical locations that I liked more than 2. I like 2's direction a lot more in general, but this is a noticeable difference to me. It did make Pathologic 1 more surreal, but also more mind-numbing. I'm sure there are a few sadists out there that prefer that. Then you combine that with the second element, which is the drastic change in the music. I like the new music, but I do miss some of the more electronic-inspired tracks. I liked Horse Archer Trip Hop, so while I wish 2 had more of that, they did remix a few songs from 1.
Oh, that's cool. Looks something you will hear in some lobby. Or bar, like he said.
Yeah, so that's cool. Now I can finally get to all the game mechanics and how much there is to do and the changes and the... Oh, boy, there's a lot of them. I forgot how many there were. Oh, my head. Is someone shilling?
Is it a drunk mechanic? Did he get drunk before taking this clip?
Raid Shadow Legends near me?
Yes, I would love to buy the bull. If you say it talks, then I believe you. I think I got scammed.
Oh boy. Wonderful.
Back to the review. So to reiterate the goals, since it's been a while, you need to save the town and save yourself. Now you could go about saving the town by any means necessary, or try to be a paragon of good, it's up to you. Now your own survival depends on several stats. Health is easy. Ivan stabs you, it goes down. You'll need to find or make healing items to get that back. If you're exhausted, go to bed. Or eat something like raw coffee grounds.
Let me stop for a second. Here's the biggest question of them all. A really important question. Do school kids still sell ammunition to guns? That's an important question. Do the school kids still sell you ammunition to guns?
Just not too many, or you die. Hunger is self-explanatory. If you need that explained, well, you're a cat. Same for thirst, though it's actually more complicated than hunger in this game. We'll come back to that. Then you have your immunity, which protects you from being infected by the plague, and you...
Sorry, I will go back, but the hunger, I'm a cat. I'm not a cat. I can meow, but I'm not a cat. I'm a fox. I'm a space mode. Mainly, but I'm a fox.
In this game. We'll come back to that. Then you have your immunity, which protects you from being infected by the plague, and you really don't want to be infected by the plague. Getting clothing and certain types of immunity boosters can help you out with that. Though boosters are one-time use and clothing needs maintenance. Some food you eat can make your thirst go up. It goes on. These stats are in a great balancing dance with each other. So how do you get the stuff? Here's how it works. In Pathologic 1, it was a web of bartering that I called the Hobo Economy. In Pathologic 2, this is called the Hobo Economy 2. Revengeance. When you're walking through town, you want to check trash cans for stuff. Sometimes you'll get a good haul, and sometimes they're empty. You might find empty bottles, which you can fill up with water. You can save these for yourself, or trade them with the drunks for healing items. Different kinds of townspeople will trade different items, so you need to figure all of them out. You can trade with near anyone you see, so this is a big deal.
Give me the ammo.
Your biggest target should always be children. Kids are dumb. Give them scissors for morphine, raisins for immunity pills. They don't know what's going on. You can then sell or trade their items at...
They no longer have bullets! No! They don't have bullets. The kids don't have bullets anymore. How am I supposed to get bullets for my guns and not when the kids don't have them anymore?
Stores to buy more specialty goods. Then, when times get desperate, people might start trading away their valuables for essential items. Time is always passing in Pathologic, and a new day brings a new economy. You can find clues to help anticipate how things will go, but you'll never be 100% sure what the next day will bring. People do need to trust you to trade. This ties into the game's reputation system. Instead of a single number, your reputation depends on what part of town you're in. An action can only affect a single district or several. If you shank a plague victim who tried to touch you, the local district will go, they'll talk about it, but it's kind of understandable, so it won't spread out from there. Now, if you fire on children with shotguns, and rob people, and mug people, and break into places, and harvest organs in the dead of night, yeah.
You can shoot kids. You can harvest organs. Sounds interesting.
And that'll spread around, which is a shame because the illegal organ market's doing really hot right now. I could keep going about what organs can do for you in the hobo economy, but I don't want to be on this too long. My point is that much like the stats, the gameplay mechanics are very tightly interwoven. It's rare for there to only be one way to get something you want. The first game was somewhat like this, but the second game has expanded on it greatly. The walking, which was the skeleton of all of Pathologic, has been improved. If you didn't notice it already, you now have the choice to sprint. That's right, newcomers. Running is a brand new feature. However, your thirst stat is also your stamina. Same bar. The more you run and naturally get more thirsty, the less max stamina you have. You recharge it, but it won't be as much as before until you get a drink. At the start of the game, this seems pointless. Water is all over, why even have this? Well, when districts start getting hit by the plague, the water sources could get infected. Barrels run empty. Water pumps break and need items to fix them. People like that. What if someone tries to kill you and you waste all your stamina running? So forget running in water, how about fast travel? Well, that could work, but it takes in-game time that could be slower if you just ran there. You need to find items to even pay for it. The boats might be closed due to airborne cancer, or maybe the price will change. It went from one option, walk there, to several options that have trade-offs. Remember, the clock is always counting down. You also need to be thinking about the efficiency of everything you do.
Also, but at the end of the day, it gives you options, which is good. So you can either walk there, run there, or get a boat there, which is nice at the end of the day. You have options this time. So yeah, that's cool. That's good improvement, I would say.
A lot of survival games are generous with the time allowed to the player. You see a meter get low and you run off to take care of it. It'll slow you down, but not really hinder your progress in the main story. A lot of problems will mainly come from your lack of preparation. If anything is timed outside of survival meters, it's usually going to be minor. If you die, you load up a save point and you're back at the same place with the same rules. This is where Pathologic shakes things up. This game has lots of quests to do, more than you could possibly do in a single day. So you need to figure out which ones to do, but also survive because you're dying. The boosters you give for a hospital quest are the same ones you need to protect your own immunity. You can go into this game always wanting to do good and not hurt the innocent, and that is possible. In a lot of role-playing games, playing good means you get less stuff, but you get nicer dialogue and people being nicer to you. And being a bad guy means more stuff and angrier people. That's not the case in this game. You have to make judgment calls based off your own logic rather than trying to game it. Breaking into a house doesn't guarantee there's food to find. Everyone else is starving. Using healing items to help some random guy doesn't mean your reputation will go up. He's just some guy. The player could rely on hospital work, and that can change in a day. You kill and rob to save a lot of money, then some stores stop using money. Items that seemed worthless suddenly have great value. A cop loots the guy that you shot. Do you then shoot him and take the reputation hit? You can't just third-party a fight from a distance anymore. I need to take a risk and get close for the stuff. If this all sounds difficult and frustrating, it is. It's a very hard game. The thing is, it's also incredibly engaging from it. You can get bored playing Pathologic 1. I was bored for a lot of Pathologic 1. Now the sequel, that keeps shaking things up.
That's good.
The only day I did everything was the first one.
Oh.
It's not always unfair. There's a lot of hints that things are going to change, you need to watch out for them. I was having to break into infected houses to try and save babies for money and reputation. It forces you into making these decisions just to get by, and the rules will change every day. It avoids the survival problem of being at the top with no challenge. You can have multiple saves at a profile, but only at these clocks. When you die, you meet the evil Willy Wonka theater director. He then gives you punishments like permanently knocking down your max health or making hunger and exhaustion come faster. By the way, this will be across all of your saves. There's no going back to avoid your mistake. The punishment is here to stay. How's that for survival? Can I get some water? Guess not. If this sounds like torture, it's really not, especially compared to Pathologic 1. That's not an incredibly confident bar, but I'll give some examples. If you don't like the death punishments, you can make a deal to get rid of them.
For a price.
Your map highlights locations and points of interest, so you never get confused on where you are. You can hold a button to give yourself GPS vision on the go. That same button will also highlight characters who have dialogue, so if you need to talk to someone twice in a row, now you know. You keep a tab of things you've learned how to do, and best of all, the mind map. I hope other games steal it because it's genius. Some games give checkboxes or a journal to tell you what's happening and what you're doing. It's hard to make it work when the plot gets more complicated with more characters. The mind map organizes it like how you think, that being snippets of information that connect together. This allows you to visually trace the plot threads so you don't get lost with what's happening. You see where holes are that give you an idea of where to investigate and who to talk to.
That's cool,
you speculate on what has the potential for connections. Here's a huge missing piece connecting several stories. This one looks unrelated. There was never a moment where I was truly lost on what to do. Instead of wondering if I'm going the wrong way and need to click someone twice, there's a button to make sure. Rather than making house calls across an entire city to see if someone needs help, well, at the end of the day, I know who's fine, who's at risk, and who's sick. This lets me create a plan at the beginning of the day, decide who gets what medicine. Choosing which quests to follow up on is just as important as making a choice inside of a mission.
That's cool, honestly. That's like definitely good. Like the mind map is definitely interesting one. That looks really good.
This is a story that branches out with characters having multiple outcomes. These people could have incomplete information, flawed logic, an angle, an entire laundry list of reasons why doing something for them might not have the best result. These are effects that you see in the game world and can cause other effects. As I said before, the challenge doesn't come from the game being cryptic. It comes from genuine decision making. Even combat, something that you would think would be based off reflexive skill, is a dizzy nightmare. It's difficult to do anything reliably in a fight, and yeah, it's terrible. My strategy was usually try to kill them quickly, and if it looks like it'll be a long fight, just run away. Guns fire erratically or jam if they're not maintained properly. A late game optional mission to get a shotgun involves fighting 3 people at once. Pathologic 2 considers that a huge deal in a video game. Fighting 3 men at one time. It can be hard to wrap your brain around.
So basically, he decided to go a little bit the realistic approach to it. Because I don't think I would even manage to beat up three people at once. I wouldn't even probably manage to beat up 1 person for the love of me. But yeah, like, definitely, like, it feels a little bit realistic, if I say it like that, yeah.
It's a difficult game, but difficult for the right reasons this time around. Not to mention, in a patch they begrudgingly added difficulty options. You have the option to change nearly any parameter in the game, but Pathologic 2 recommends you don't do that. The stand-in for the director even laments not being able to make the game harder. So why is this here? I rarely do this, but it's time to talk about some other reviews. I don't think this game is selling too well, and I have some ideas why.
Heart is good. If the intent here is to follow a Saucian heart is good philosophy, sorry about that. Pathologic 2 starts to feel less like an interesting failure and more like a budget Skyrim. Who said that? I'm sorry. If the okay, let's see. Heart is good philosophy and applied to survival genre. This is misplaced. Those games are about reaction, movement, and practice. You can't practice finding a piece of bread. If the intent is only to keep the player feeling oppressed, strapped for time, exhausted, hungry, and very, well, that doesn't mean I won't also resent having to spend so much time doing the most boring species of meter management in what could have been a captivating mystery. Can I put away the CCs? Thank you. Hunger is the worst offender. You can enter abandoned house and loot them, and even burglarize healthy houses, but there's never any food in the kitchens. There are abandoned houses and free beds everywhere, but you can only sleep in some of them. Put all this together with the same character models and the clumsy combat, and Pathologic 2 starts to feel less like interesting failure and more like budget Skyrim. I see.
I'd like to present my case. The criticism I see the most is about the survival mechanics. Most reviewers lament it, calling it tedious and wishing you could just walk around the interesting world and talk to people about the mystery. That's fair. So here's why it would be a detriment. The characters in this game are well written and fleshed out, especially compared to Pathologic 1, whose characters had traits, but they were so allegorical and metaphorical, and it was difficult to see them as actual people. 2 gives you history with them. They make it personal. Decisions you make lead to their death or their survival. The game invites you to get invested in them, see what they can do if they live through it. Protecting characters from the plague is one of your main goals in the game. Actions you take can influence whether they get infected in the first place. If they do get infected, well, it's up to you to save them. Plague-curing items are hard to acquire. You need to sacrifice time and resources to get them. The key word being sacrifice. You have to give something up to make this happen. Are you invested enough to go into areas and risk permanent punishments? Are you going to give up an item that would easily cure yourself to help someone else? Do you upgrade your ability to carry more fat loot, or focus more on the medicine machine? You're not distant from the situation deciding who lives and dies in conversations, you're actively in it. You're also trying not to starve, you're also trying not to die of disease. It immerses you more in the situation, you're part of the decaying city, not some immortal Time Lord observing it. You and the other characters that they want you to be invested in, you're in the same boat. Their problems seem more real because they're real for you to manage. You know, helping your characters be relatable, so you care what's happening and maybe feel something. Without these meters, you have no reason to drop into a random house and see how normal people are doing. Yeah. You never go out and hunt for supplies based off a tip. You never have a routine look in a house turn into a monster chase.
Yeah, like if I didn't have any hunger and stuff, I would just, well, let's go there. Well, okay, for me it's different. I'm just someone that likes to explore everything and loot everything. I'm just a hoarder. Give me the items.
You don't need to question your own decision or take a big gamble. Yeah, let's just remove the conditions that made those memorable events happen. Some of the most interesting conversations in the game happen right after you die, because they know it's hard and they do expect you to fail a bunch. I still have mechanical issues with this game. Muggers having the surrender mechanic is useless, not having an inventory auto-sort is a needless pain in the ass, and I still don't get sneaking.
Why was that hard in a trash can? Why was that hard in a trash can?
I've rarely seen those complained about, but instead it's the driving force of the game that's being criticized. I don't know. I guess I'm just disappointed that the game's art crowd seems so obsessed with those walking simulators where you don't have a ton of interactivity or mechanics. Then you have this game that did an excellent job at refining a concept that they had 10 years ago, and it's being dismissed for not being one of those walking games. Maybe we should think about why these mechanics are still there and not dismiss it as a mistake? When I beat Pathologic 1, I was dreading having to play a new character. I really didn't want to. In this, I was excited to play the same character again just to see what turned out differently. I loved it. The only thing 1 truly has over 2 is some more interesting story elements at points, and you can play as 3 characters. If you really want to know more about the story of 2, you could just watch my video on 1. All the new stuff in 2 is based on new character context, events, and other stuff that would take forever to go through. Icepick Lodge had plans to add the other 2 characters, but I don't know now. I couldn't in good faith recommend Pathologic 1, but 2, I'll say yes. In fact, I'll go farther than that. I'm not a good salesman, but if this game sounded remotely like it would be interesting to you, go buy this game. GOG and Steam both have refund policies. If you don't like it in the time period, just refund it. Even though it's only one character, it's a much more fleshed out experience than the 3 that were in Pathologic 1. They improved on nearly everything I could hope for. I would hate to see it not get polished up and not get the other characters. I don't want to watch it fade away and then in 5 years read on some publication that gave it a bad review that it was a hidden gem and we all just missed it. I want to see the other characters. Like that. I want to see the Soul Matol video on them. So if it sounds like your thing, check it out, and I'll see you in the next video. I also kind of want to try Deluxe Hard Mode. I like punishing myself.
Yeah, that's Warhammer 40k. A really cool video, honestly.
Thanks to everyone who made this happen and for waiting. I was out with an injury in late June and couldn't get this finished, and I'm glad it's over. Anyways, time for questions. Are there any games you like you don't plan on doing a video on? Probably Morrowind, maybe New Vegas at this rate. Also, really long role-playing games like Baldur's Gate 2, I'm starting to wonder if those will be worth the time investment, because those will take a while to record properly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I don't want to wait
honestly.
from now to the last video to become the new normal. When will you review a Total War Warhammer game? My plan is after the next Lord Pack, so it'll be my December to New Year holiday
Oh yeah,
project,
that's the stuff.
I have no idea what they might rework or add in, so I don't want to get started now just in case they end up fixing something, then I waste my time making footage.
But
for
I
that.
still want to hear
That video is my white whale after Elite Dangerous, which I might have to hold off on that for a bit still, because I can't sit for very long. Honestly, I've been sitting too long right in this moment, so next question. Have you played a Zachtronics game? I saw a few of the Matthew Matosis videos on them, but I haven't played any myself yet. I have a feeling they might be too strong for me. Are there any games you didn't like in a first playthrough, but liked in a second? The big one I always think of is Quake 4, because I stopped playing that the first time I played it. Doom 3 was the year before, and I thought it was going to be Doom 3 Part 2, so I just gave up on it. There's this...
Honestly, him talking about Doom 3, I did play Doom 3, and honestly, I did enjoy it at the time. Before you know, Doom 2016 come out, I did indeed enjoy Doom 3. I finished it in school on my laptop.
Spaceship where Steve Bloom voices everyone on it, and that was the point where I stopped. Then later I came back, and now I really enjoy it. There'll probably be a video on it eventually. Alrighty then, have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mandalore. Honestly, I did. Not me. Will that be in it? Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Oh, well, anyway. Great video by MandaloreGaming. I really enjoyed this honestly. This review of Pathologic 2. Definitely there were improvements from what he showed us. And honestly, if I wasn't lazy and stuff, maybe one day in future, who knows when, maybe someday or never, maybe I could try Pathologic 2. We'll see. Also, honestly, let me just say, I may make a reaction to this video one day, because I saw it last time after I finished Pathologic 1 review, and it was, this looks interesting. Maybe one day I should do for the mystery of the druids. Looks interesting. But yeah, if you enjoyed this reaction, which hopefully was better than the last one, then please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. And if you didn't, well, disliking is an option, calling me stinky is an option. I did saw that some people didn't like the last review. But hey, at least if you dislike, please tell me what to change. Thank you. And yeah, with that, I see you at some different reaction. So yeah, bye bye. Bye.